Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You could stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. No, I'll stand my ground. Won't be turned around. And I'll keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. Well, I know what's right. I've got just one life in a world that keeps on pushing me around, but I'll stand my ground, and I won't back down.
Well, hello and welcome to another Wednesday evening live at Restore UK. That's Restore UK going out to, and wait for it, well, not to Facebook, and that's for reasons which we will explain very, very shortly. But most certainly not to Facebook this evening. And we're broadcasting live on the YouTube channel. We're also broadcasting live to Twitter. So what I would like to ask people is that if you would copy the link on YouTube, and if you would like to copy and paste it into the various Facebook platforms, that way we will get to reach some people who would normally come here on a Wednesday evening. Well, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. I mean, I haven't broadcast live here at Restore for slightly over 2 weeks. On that last broadcast that we done, I think it was on the around the 4th or the 5th thereabouts of July. That was the evening whenever that we were speaking to Ben Habib. And would you believe it that Facebook has actually they have given Ben Habib the title of a dangerous individual or a dangerous organization? And they said that because that we would broadcast with Ben Habib, imagine, they said that was Facebook, that we had broken their community standards, their community guidelines, and that we would be restricted from Facebook. Now, firstly, what they did, and we're going to be showing you this, is that they restricted us for, I think, let me just get this right, it was for 30 days thereabouts. But given that I was away on holiday, and by the time that I come back and by the time that I noticed this, it looked as if that it was only going to be sort of 22 days thereabouts before that we could broadcast again on Facebook. And then what I did was that I went back onto Facebook again last evening, and it just seems that they have decided that they are going to extend the ban that we have on Facebook, and they're going to extend it for a very, very long time. Now, one wonders who that it is that's responsible for actually knocking us off Facebook for doing what? For telling the truth. You know, in times of universal deceit, said Orwell, telling the truth would be a revolutionary act, and that makes us at Restore UK, well, that makes us revolutionaries. But the one thing that you can be absolutely certain about and absolutely sure of is that Facebook and the people and the powers that be and the people that would be responsible for ensuring that we don't have a platform of over 10,000 people at Restore UK on Facebook, well, those people that are responsible for that, and we could take our pick right across the board. We could just wonder who that it is that's responsible for having us knocked off. Well, one thing you can be absolutely certain about is that it's not going to stop us. In fact, what it will do is it will make me personally, it'll make the people at Restore more determined to bring the truth and to ensure that people gets to hear the truth in the way that they actually deserve. So this evening, we have a good show lined up for you. In the reality, the way that Restore would normally actually do things. So make it known that you're here in the live chat. I see that our good friend here, Jim Werner, he's on YouTube. So good evening and welcome. So on the YouTube channel, what you can do is that you can actually comment as you would normally do on Facebook. And what we want people to do is that we want people to come across, we want people to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and we want people to actually encourage others to come across in order that you can see what it is that we will be broadcasting in the days and the weeks and in the months going forward. And we are looking into how that it is that we're going to be getting back onto our Facebook channel. Now, there's no redress whatsoever, even although that we've been knocked off, and we've been knocked off in a totally unfair way and in a way that just absolutely can't be justified. Even though we're knocked off, we're working at ways that we can actually get back, and we can start broadcasting back to the Facebook channel. But unfortunately, what we're going to have to do is that we're going to have to make do with the YouTube channel for now and build it up, and also to the Twitter channel. So anyway, without any further ado, what I would like to do is I would like to get on with what it is that I'm here to do this evening. Now, I really wanted to show people what it is that we've been banned for. Now, some people that we've been speaking to ever since the ban has occurred in the past few days, well, you know, anyone that has looked at it, what they say, and you can make your own decision for yourselves, is that, well, you must be doing something right. You must be doing something that the powers that be, that those that would have banned you, you must be doing something that they do not like. Well, let me just show you, excuse me, let me just show you why that it is that we get banned. And again, the numbers are going up. And if you're new to the channel, if you're just in, I would like to ask you to give us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, if you can copy the little link, and if you can paste it into the various Facebook channels, that way more and more people would be able to come here. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're going to be without Facebook for the time being. So we're going to get on with actually showing what it is that we're actually banned for. Now, if you just bear with me, what I want to do is I want to actually share the screen that we have in front of us so that we can take people through and we can show people how unfair that this world is actually become. And whenever that you're telling the truth, well, and as I said earlier on, in times of universal deceit, telling the truth, it will be a revolutionary act. And that is a quote from Orwell. And it seems that we at Restore are actually revolutionary. So sharing the screen to show people what it is that we're banned for. And if you would like to make your comments onto the YouTube platform here, well, that way we can understand what your thoughts are as we go. So what about going on Truth Social? There's one from Henry Johnston or Harry Johnston. Harry, I'll go back to you in a wee second. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually show what it was that we were actually banned for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share my screen. Now, I need to hop back and forward so that we can see. Yes, I can see what we're at now. Right, okay. Now, if you just bear with me for a second or two, yes, everyone can see the screen as we go. Well, what I will do is I'll do this, and I will then go on and talk about why that it is that we've been banned. So what you'll see is you'll see my little mouse popping about in the background here, and I'm going to draw your attention to where that it would say John Yates beside the No Irish Sea Border badge at the top left-hand side of the page. And if you can go just down below that, straight down below that, you will see account restricted. There's a little square box with a little no entry sign, let's just say. And what I want to do is I want to actually click on that to take you through why that it is that we've been restricted. So this is me clicking on the account restricted no entry sign. So I've clicked on it now. Right, let's see what happens. So it says here that your account is restricted. You have multiple restrictions on your account is exactly what it says here up below this account status. So it says here that the first restriction was on the 9th of July. And it says that you can't go live for 48 days. Then it says below that the next restriction, it says also was on the 9th of July. And it says again, you can't advertise for 48 days. And then it says below that again, that restriction again on the 9th of July, it says that your posts will be moved lower in the feed for 18 days. And then we'll go below again. It seems that we've got 4 restrictions, all from the 9th of July. And it says that you can't manage or create new pages for 18 days. So there we go. So I'm restricted in four ways. And I have to say that we did broadcast in and around the, I'm going to say probably the 5th, the 4th, thereabouts. But it seems that we weren't actually restricted until the 9th of July. So what I'm going to do, it says here at the side, see why that you are actually restricted. So what we want to do is that now this beggars belief, and I really want to show people what it is that we're restricted for here. So sorry, account restricted. Back onto this again. Sorry, here we go. Where am I? Yes, this is the one here. So account restricted. This is the one here that we're looking at. Just bear with me for 2 seconds. I'll close a few more of these down here because we've got too many pages up. Just bear with me. We're going to share our screen back again here. I had too much open there. It was totally my fault. So share screen. Back again. We're going to Facebook. We're sharing. And this is me in now. So at the top restriction here on the 9th of July, what I want to do is I want to actually click here, see why that your account is restricted. So, right, I'm just checking that was the case. Yes, that is. So it says that you can't go live for 48 days. So it then says, why is your account restricted? So it goes on, it says, you shared this on Restore UK's profile on the 9th of July, it says. However, we didn't broadcast on the 9th of July. We broadcasted around the 4th. So I'm just clicking through to find out what it was that we shared. Now, you can actually see this. You can see the little video of myself and Ben Habib. And it says on that post, it says that your post didn't follow our community standards. Now, if I go on down here, it says that it didn't follow our community standards. And I'm just trying to flick on down to see can we make any more head or tail of it. And this is again we get into the British Unionist People's Voice to see, and again it's exactly the same post. See more. So there we go. So it's saying that that post from that myself and Ben Habib done. You can see it live on your screen there. It says that the people are being hoodwinked with the protocol bill by Ben Habib. That's what it says on that little video, as you can see. Now, what I want to do is I'm just going to knock that off our screen, and I'm going to come back up onto your screen again myself. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to play the exact video and try to understand why that it is that we were banned from Facebook. Why that it is that that our post didn't follow their community standards. And it did say on other posts whenever we were first opening up, it said that it didn't follow their community standards and it went against their policy on dangerous individuals and dangerous organizations thereabouts. That's what Facebook had said. Now let's understand what it says, what this video was all about. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pop it up onto the screen now, and I'm going to play it, and we're going to stop, and we're going to start as we go. So over to the video so that you can understand exactly what it is that we're banned for. Being hoodwinked again by the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill. You know, you have a profound sense of deja vu, is what you were writing. I want you just basically to explain what it was that drove you to write that article in the press just a few days ago. So over to you, Ben.
Okay, well, the first thing I would say, John, is this new deal, which is basically the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill, which is going through Parliament and it's suggested by the government that the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill will effectively put right all the deficiencies in the protocol, remove the ECJ, bring back control of VAT and excise duties to the British government, effectively remove the customs border by creating green and red channels for goods that are destined for Northern Ireland versus the EU. That's the deal that's on the table, this Northern Ireland Protocol Bill. And what I would ask people to do is actually read it.
So as you can hear from Ben Habib, what we were doing is that we were taking a look at the protocol bill. And what we were doing is that we were looking at the various sections of the protocol bill. And this is Ben actually asking people, can't be any more further than that, to go and read the protocol bill. Now, remember, this is what I was banned off Facebook for, this very post. And well, let's get to the end of the post and listen very, very carefully to hear if this would go against anybody's community standards on dangerous individuals or dangerous organizations, is exactly what Facebook said. But let's play on and let's listen to what Ben had to say.
I really implore people to read it. And if you can't read all of it, read clause 26, which is the last clause in the bill. What that clause says is that clauses 1 through to 20 have no legal effect when the bill is passed.
So again, I'm going to stop there for a second, and I'm going to draw your attention to something that Ben had said. If you read the last part of the protocol bill, that's 26, well, what it does, it says that all the rest has no legal effect, clauses 1 to 20, which is the meat on the bones, which is designed to get Jeffrey Donaldson back into Stormont again. That without in clause 26, it said that all the rest has to be go through Parliament again, and they don't have any legal effect until that they are taken through Parliament by a minister, and then they are passed by Parliament again. Now, we were pointing out that the protocol bill is actually hoodwinking unionists. And this is what I was banned off Facebook for. This is what they removed Restore UK from over 10,000 people on a Facebook channel. They removed us from the people that we have on the channel. We've worked hard to build those people up. And all because why? Because that some truths are too uncomfortable for some people. Now we could list the amount of people that would actually be capable of having us knocked off Facebook, and we will do that. We will get to the point whereby that we'll probably list out who are likely to be the culprits and that got Restore UK kicked off Facebook for, well, firstly they said 30 days, and then they're saying, I think you seen it a second ago, where it was like, what is it, 49 days? And we've seen this before, because what happens is that they kick you off again and they ban you from going live again and again and again and again. Well, you get the picture. So what we're wanting to do is that we're wanting to highlight just how corrupt that some people are whenever some uncomfortable truths are being told. And what we did the Sunday before that I went on holiday was between myself and Ben, that what we did was we exposed the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill for the absolute charade and the hoodwinking that it actually is. And yet some people from within our community, you know, unionist politicians, leaders within unionism, the DUP, namely, well, they welcome the Protocol Bill, which amounts to absolutely nothing. Now, some people might not like that hard truth, but the truth is the absolute truth. And no matter why they like it or not, we will continue to broadcast the truth, even if it means that we're broadcasting to a completely restricted amount of people, because we will find other ways of pushing our message out, and in a way that we, just like we normally do, and like we have done for the last number of years at Restore UK. So back to Ben, and we will play on, and we will listen very, very carefully to what Ben had to say with reference this protocol bill.
Clauses 1 through to 20 is all the meat that unionists and Brexiteers would wish to see in the Act. So in other words, just to make that clear and simple, the bill, if passed into law, in itself has no impact on the protocol. It doesn't change a thing. And the other thing, any legislation that the government's entitled to bring, if it should require a change of a previous Act of Parliament, and of course, anything meaningful would require a change in a previous Act of Parliament. If such change is required, that particular legislation, that particular regulation would have to go back to Parliament. And they've structured it very cleverly. They've done it to make it look like they're doing something positive to get the protocol neutered, but in reality, they're doing nothing. It's to kick the can down the road, to avoid having to address the problem, in the hope that he can somehow get Stormont resurrected. And then there'll be a vote in 2024, as some people might know, on the protocol, and it'll be established that the Northern Ireland Assembly has voted in favour of the protocol, and the Prime Minister will be off the hook. It's a strategy to force the protocol down your throat. So when they say the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill is there to change the protocol, it's not. It's there to hoodwink you. It's there to kick the can down the road. It's being done in the hope that Stormont will be resurrected, and then it's no longer the Prime Minister's problem.
So what you will have heard there is the protocol bill amounts to nothing. The clause 26, the clause 1 to 20 has absolutely no effect, and this is what it says in 26, has absolutely no effect until it goes back through the Parliament again, which means that the entire protocol bill is absolutely worthless, totally and absolutely worthless to Northern Ireland unionists. And this is what myself and Ben were arguing, and this is what we have been, well, I personally have been thrown off Facebook for. Now, we've got to ask the question, what vested interest would would benefit from John Yates from Restore UK telling the truth on Facebook, and what vested interest would benefit from us being thrown off Facebook? And we'll come to that very, very soon. But there's quite a few vested interests in ensuring that we would not be able to win hearts and minds, that we would not be able to explain this to people, that we would not be able to explain to people that in 2024, just a year and a half away, there's a vote in the Northern Ireland Assembly, in where that the Northern Ireland Assembly would get to vote on whether the protocol stays. And if those people in that assembly vote to keep the protocol, that means that unionists in Northern Ireland who voted for Brexit, who were triumphant in the Brexit process in the 23rd of June 2016, we formed part of 17.4 plus million people that voted to leave the dictatorial Ponzi scheme that is the EU. And the protocol bill, it is smoke and mirrors to deliver us to the date in where that there's a vote in the Northern Ireland Assembly, and in where that the Alliance Party, Sinn Féin, the SDLP, whoever else, the Green Party, possibly the Ulster Unionist Party, well, they will vote to vote us into the EU and separate it forever from the rest of the United Kingdom. Make no mistake that this protocol bill in its current form, it is worthless, it is meaningless, and it delivers us to having the border lifted between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and having that border permanently transplanted and taken to Larne, Belfast and Warrenpoint, and permanently fixated in that position. So this is what myself and Ben Habib were trying to drive through on the Sunday evening prior to the 6th. And obviously then we seem to have been separated from our Facebook channel for trying to tell the truth. What sort of corruption is this? But of course it won't stop us. It definitely will not stop us. So we're going to play on just to finish this short video clip in where that you're going to hear Ben just explain some more, and then we're going to move on to some other things.
People believe that this bill is going to do something, and it's a lie. And I just on the vote, there's another thing I want to just say, John. I know you're not a fan of the Belfast Agreement, but under the Belfast Agreement, for a change in the constitutional setup of Northern Ireland, the vote that goes through Stormont should be on a cross-community basis. Both nationalists and unionists should have to vote in favour of the protocol for it to be established. But the voting mechanism that they've set up for the 2024 is just a simple majority. And that's no accident. They've neutered the Belfast Agreement in the protocol. You know, all that banging of drums and triumphalism over upholding the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, as they now call it, all that triumphalism is another hoodwinking, because they've removed the right for cross-community consent, which is embedded in the heart of the Belfast Agreement.
So there you go. That's the reason why that John Yates is actually banned right now from going live on Facebook, is because that there are certain uncomfortable truths within that short video clip, and within the entire stream that we done, which was just over an hour. That was the Sunday prior to the 6th of July, when myself and Ben Habib, when we scratched the surface with the protocol bill, and when we explained to people what it is that we believe that the government are doing right now. So then we ask the question, who would have had vested interest in banning John Yates and Restore UK from Facebook, separating us from over 10,000 followers on the Restore UK page and over 2,000 thereabouts on the British Unionist People's Voice? Well, there could be a host of people. You know, Facebook, it's located in Dublin. You know, Republicans would have access to people that works within Facebook. So we asked the question, was it Republicans? Could it have been the EU themselves, who doesn't like the fact that we were exposing the way that the protocol bill was designed? You know, here on Restore in weeks gone by, I showed that there was a landing zone, and the terminology is landing zone. And I believed that everyone, including the DUP, the UUP, the Alliance Party, the SDLP, the Sinn Féiners, although they didn't admit it, the Irish government, the American government, the British government, you know, all the players and all the parties around the politics of the protocol and the protocol bill, well, all of those parties, they had signed up to this thing called the landing zone. And the landing zone just happens to be the protocol bill. And here at Restore, we were exposing that for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. And is our message too strong for these people? Do they not like the truth? Can they not defeat the truth? Can they not tackle the truth? Can they not fight against the truth? Can they not win hearts and minds against the absolute truth? Now, that is a real question. Was it the Irish government that got us banned? Is it the Americans themselves who have control of the social media platforms? Was it at the behest or the request of MI5? Was it the suits in Whitehall? Was it the British government themselves? Was it the DUP? Maybe we are attacking wee Jeffrey too much. Maybe we're exposing wee Jeffrey for the charlatan that he actually is. You know, there's a host of people. Is it, and this is very important, is it the people with huge conflict of interest from within our own community that would request that Restore UK, well, we don't get to tell the truth, that we don't get to tell the people that you are being hoodwinked by this protocol bill, that we don't get to tell people that, well, there are people with vested interest from within our own communities that would be selling you out 30 pieces of silver. That is the price for Northern Ireland. So choose. We don't know. We don't know who it is that had us actually banned from Facebook. Now I'm looking at some of the live chat here, and well, we're here. We're going nowhere. We're going absolutely nowhere. You might have seen at the start of this screen, and if you go back to watch it, we won't back down. Our country means a lot to us. The United Kingdom means a lot to us, and we're not going to back down now. We're not going to back down ever. That's the reality. That is the absolute reality. And some people need to get used to that we're going absolutely nowhere. We'll start again. We will build ourselves like we did before, and we built better than most people on social media. We have the skills. We have the technology to be able to do this, and we will build ourselves back in whatever way that we need to in order to get the message across to the ordinary, decent citizen, not just here in Northern Ireland, in Scotland, in Wales, and in England. All of those people that your politicians, well, you are like dirt on their shoe. You don't matter to them. Once they get your vote, that's it. That's all that matters to them. Your vote is all you are worth. Just looking at some of the live chat here, and we're going to pop up something here from Harry Johnston. What about going to Truth Social? I think it was officially launched in the UK this evening. Harry, that's a very, very good tip. And I have to say, we will go over to Truth Social, and we'll certainly take a look at that. And thanks very much for that. And we have here again from Profile P, you're fighting the global narrative. I think this will take more than words or legal action. This is the way that things certainly seem. And remember, the people at Restore UK, well, we are involved in the case against the protocol. We are the last line of defense against that protocol. There are two cases. The case that us at Restore are involved in, and we're going to the Supreme Court in London. We'll be there on the 29th of November and on the 30th of November and the 1st of December, after which it'll take a while. The judges will deliberate and then they'll deliver their verdict down the line. But we will certainly be there. We are the last line of defense against this protocol. And then there's the other case, which is Kate Hoey, Jim Allister, and Ben Habib. And certainly they will be there on exactly the same dates, fighting against this constitutional changing protocol that if we don't kill that, that will kill Northern Ireland. That will kill Northern Ireland's place within the United Kingdom. That has the potential to kill the entire United Kingdom. And yet some politicians, Jeffrey Donaldson specifically, the DUP hierarchy under Jeffrey Donaldson's leadership, well, they're accepting this promise of absolutely nothing. And that's what's in the protocol bill. Let's play something that was put in under the radar just last week. Now, I was away off on holiday, and I caught a glimpse of this, so I did, in some of the press. And then whenever I come back, I went looking for it, and I have to say it was like hen's teeth to get. And I got it from a particular source. I certainly couldn't find what it was that Jeffrey had actually said from the normal sources. Certainly the DUP didn't publish it. Certainly it's not on YouTube. You know, it's not in the in the normal places. And when was this actually published? Well, you see, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th, the traditional holidays in Northern Ireland, when on the 11th evening, well, a lot of people are out celebrating their culture. On the 12th, well, people are out watching marching bands fraternity, the Loyal Orders, again, celebrating their culture. And huge in Northern Ireland, on the 13th of July, is where a lot of people from right around Northern Ireland, anybody that is interested in this protocol, well, most of those people will be in a place called Scarva on the 13th of July. And this is something that took place in the Parliament on 13th of July in 2022, in where Jeffrey Donaldson, well, when he divulged, when he openly and audibly divulged, well, he divulged what Restore UK had told you that he would be doing from weeks ago, from months ago, from whenever that he left those protocol rally stages, whenever he was saying that the protocol must go and the democratic right of the unionist people must be respected, until he got to the Great Hall of Stormont and he said, we need to be dealing with the issues around the protocol. And then when Liz Truss said, well, the protocol isn't going anywhere. This is not about scrapping the protocol. This is about working within the mechanisms to deliver on the mechanisms from within the protocol. And Jeffrey Donaldson had said in the Parliament on the day that Liz Truss gave first reading of what it was that was going to be in this protocol bill, Jeffrey Donaldson said, thank you, and we welcome what it is that you've just delivered. And this forms the basis, should the legislation come out, that would form the basis of Jeffrey Donaldson and the DUP going back into Stormont. The only leverage that unionists in Northern Ireland have for defeating this protocol right now, and Jeffrey Donaldson is about to give that away. And when was it that Jeffrey Donaldson had came clean on what it was that he was going to do? Well, whenever everyone was in Scarva last week, Jeffrey Donaldson was delivering these words in the Houses of Parliament. Listen to Jeffrey. Listen to what he said. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what Jeffrey had to say in the Parliament just last week.
I believe this legislation, if enacted, will help us to achieve that objective. I am absolutely convinced of that. And my party has stated clearly that if this bill becomes law, we believe that provides the basis for restoring the political institutions in Northern Ireland, including the executive. And I've already committed to leave this place and to return to Stormont as the Deputy First Minister as part of that executive. Therefore, I have a personal commitment to the restoration of the political institutions, as does my party.
Right, people, what I want to do is I'm going to reverse this back and we're going to go through this word for word, because it's good to understand the words of these people, and it's good to understand these words good and proper. Here we go. He delivered this when everyone was at Scarva on the 13th of July. Now, I was able to get the audible off the radio. I wasn't able to find it in the normal places, let's just say. Now, listen very carefully to what wee Jeffrey had to say. And you'll see from the writing on the screen there, you'll see that I have wee Jeffrey on cue and indicating a return to Stormont on the promise of nothing, on the promise of absolutely zero from within that protocol bill, because the protocol bill gives Northern Ireland Unionists absolutely nothing. And Section 26 of that bill actually indicates that it gives you nothing. It gives you absolutely nothing. And yet Jeffrey is touting this to be the best thing since sliced bread. And listen very carefully again to what Jeffrey had to say.
I believe this legislation, if enacted, will help us to achieve that objective. I am absolutely convinced of that. And my party has stated clearly that if this bill becomes law, we believe that provides the basis for restoring the political institutions in Northern Ireland.
So, if this protocol bill becomes law, remember, Section 26 of the bill says that Sections 1 to 20, it all has to go back through the Parliament again. You get absolutely nothing from the protocol bill. Remember that. And yet he's saying that this forms the basis of him going back into Stormont again. And he said this on the 13th of July in the Parliament when everyone was at Scarva, slipped in onto the radar. Let's hear that again, just for clarity.
It becomes law. We believe that provides the basis for restoring the political institutions in Northern Ireland, including the executive. And I've already committed to leave this place and to return to Stormont as the Deputy First Minister as part of that executive. Therefore, I have a personal commitment to the restoration of the political institutions, as does my party.
So there you go. That's what your political leaders are up to. That's what your political leaders are hoping to bluff the entire unionist community with. That's what your political leaders has actually bluffed the entire unionist community with. The promise of nothing, absolutely nothing. And in case that you don't understand, well, what we're going to do is that we'll look for the protocol bill, we'll play a little song, we'll get the protocol bill up, we'll go to the Section 26, we'll read it for ourselves, we'll document it here for everyone to see that the protocol bill is worthless, completely worthless, and promises and gives nothing, absolutely nothing, to unionists here in Northern Ireland. Well, except if you've got a vested interest, if you're in receipt of maybe money from Europe, and we see that they are suggesting that they're going to be putting more money into the pot. Well, I believe there was something come out just a few days ago in the press, but I believe that's the EU announcing what is known as new money. They're just regurgitating what it is that they've already promised and making it look as if they're pumping a lot of money in, when and in effect they're absolutely not. Now, there's more and more people come to the live, to the YouTube channel. Get the numbers up. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, and we're going to be doing a lot from YouTube. We're broadcasting from the Twitter channel, and we're going to be looking into other things. What we do want to do here is that we're going to get ourselves a website, and we're going to broadcast with all our videos coming live from our own website. And that way, we're not going to be relying on the likes of Facebook that can have representations made to them through the British government, through the Irish government, through the Americans, through whoever, to say that shushy, Restore UK should not be telling the truth to the people of Northern Ireland. We can't be faced with that in the future. Let's just say we cannot be faced with that, and we're not going to be faced with that. So that was wee Jeffrey. That was wee Jeffrey saying what we told you that wee Jeffrey was going to do. We have always said that Jeffrey will be looking to return to Stormont come October time. I believe that's the time frame. I believe that was always in Jeffrey's heart. In fact, Jeffrey Donaldson has not changed his position on the protocol. Well, since when? Since the protocol came into being. What month is this? This is month 7, year 2. So this is what, 12 and 7. This is some 19 months later. The protocol haven't been in place, and the protocol is still here. The constitutional changing EU protocol is still here, and the DUP have done absolutely nothing about it. The British government have done nothing about it. And if we leave it to them, the protocol and the protocol bill and everything that flows from it, well, it will still be here in another 10 years' time. 2016, the 23rd of June, 2016, we left the EU. And yet we're still here, and we're still fighting to get out of this said EU. These people are not for real. These people are bluffing you, are bluffing me, are bluffing everyone. And why? Because they like their feet onto this globalist table, because they want their career prospects to be enhanced in whatever way that they can. They don't care about you or me or anyone else in the process. So we're going to go to something else. What we want to do is that we want to look at, well, it was Liz Truss. Liz Truss was the lady who was triumphant today along with Rishi Sunak. Now, I'm talking as I'm looking, because what I'm doing is I'm looking for something here. Liz Truss was triumphant today. And well, we prepared something this morning. If you would look at the meme that we had made for the live event that we're doing, and I'm just going to get the little meme up for 2 seconds. Well, look, we were able to predict from this morning that, maybe just bear with me, I'm going to share the screen just to show you. So we want to share the screen. We want to go there. We want to go to here, not here. We want to go to there. So share. So we want to share this screen for a second here, and you'll see it. And if you just bear with me, I will see what I can do to enhance this. This is hard to do. Yes, I know how to do it now. Okay, so top left-hand corner, you'll see that there's a little meme here. You'll see that Rishi Sunak's on it. You'll see that Jeffrey Donaldson's on it, and you'll see that Liz Truss is on the meme. And, we have focus on United Kingdom politics. Now, it was a foregone conclusion that Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak would be in the leadership race for the Conservative Party. And that was known for a very, very long time. And I believe that now that Rishi and Liz Truss is in place and ready to go forward after the summer, to be leader of the Conservative Party, I believe that Liz Truss is the person that will actually get the job. And the reason being is that Conservatives are more likely to vote a woman in than they are a man. It seems to be that it's the lady's turn, let's just say. So I believe that Liz Truss will be triumphant after the summer. Now, remember that Liz Truss is the lady who would have Well, she negotiated this protocol bill. She arrived at the circumstances with the EU in where this what amounts to nothing. Well, she was the person that negotiated this protocol bill. This smoke and mirrors, this hoodwinking of Northern Ireland Unionist people. And who is it that's facilitating the hoodwinking of the Northern Ireland people? Well, Jeffrey Donaldson and the DUP hierarchy are facilitating the hoodwinking of the Northern Ireland people, the Northern Ireland electorate. Well, we don't expect much from the Ulster Unionist Party. They're the type of people that, well, they'd rather be in the EU anyway. But we do expect a wee bit more from the likes of the DUP, but we're seeing them, let's just say, the tide has went out and we now see them, looking bare and understanding just how vile and how treacherous that they really are and how traitorous that the DUP actually are. So let's understand who that it was that the Conservative Party in England would have sent to the EU after all of those people that were dealing with the EU. Who was it that came to the conclusion and presented in Parliament the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill, which amounts to absolutely zero for Northern Ireland Unionists? Let's have a look at Liz Truss and let's understand who Liz Truss actually is. Now, this is going to be interesting for those of you that don't actually know. So here we go with a little short video clip.
There are so many issues which have been visited on this country by an elite of self-selecting, closed-minded people, as well represented here this evening, and actually largely incompetent as well, which have done enormous damage to our way of life. So, for instance...
So this is Peter Hitchens. This is a little video clip that I found on the internet from 2013. And you'll see a young Liz Truss in the background. And I want you to listen very, very carefully to what it is that Peter Hitchens has to say. Now, the title of this screen, if you were to find this on YouTube, goes along the lines of, as Peter Hitchens is surrounded by left-wing politicians. Words to that effect. Now look who's in the lineup that is going to be attacking Peter Hitchens for saying what it is that most British citizens feel right around the United Kingdom. How that it is that most British citizens view their politicians. What it is that most British citizens are complaining of right now with reference politics and the way that politicians take people for granted. Listen to Peter Hitchens as he explains what it is that you or I feel from deep down inside the pits of our stomach, and then listen to Liz Truss. And also listen to what Peter Hitchens has to say with reference to who Liz Truss actually is. So I'm going to reverse this back to the start, and we're going to let you listen to this here. And I want people to take note of these words and understand who is Liz Truss.
There are so many issues which have been visited on this country by an elite of self-selecting, closed-minded people, as well represented here this evening, and actually largely incompetent as well, which have done enormous damage to our way of life. So, for instance, who now has anything to say about the deindustrialization of this country and the destruction of manufacturing jobs under the Thatcher government? Who can reverse it? Who can do anything about it? Who will say anything on this panel about the catastrophe of mass immigration, which has changed this country irrevocably into somewhere completely different from what it was? They won't talk about it. They won't talk seriously about the immense problems of crime and disorder, which affect millions of people in their homes and leave them utterly vulnerable to all kinds of unpleasantness and violence and menace, which they never used to have to undergo. And there is no sense whatsoever that there will be any reform of the criminal justice system or any attempt to put it right again. These are just some of the subjects
But why do you think
on which this elite just constantly refuse to discuss.
Why?
Why? Because they themselves have an ideology. They themselves have the ideology of metropolitan bourgeois bohemians. They despise most people outside.
What are you, man of the people?
They despise. Well,
I mean, you're the only person on this panel who is...
I'm no more a man of the people than you are.
I don't claim to be, but you're making a pitch for one here.
I'm simply saying these are the things which they will not do anything about, which they will not do, because they themselves benefit. They themselves benefit from many of the things which do immense damage. They've benefited from globalization. They've benefited from mass immigration.
Let's talk about mass immigration. Let's talk about immigrants coming over here, propping up our NHS, treating us
They're not affected. They're not affected. Their children don't go to bog standard comprehensives. They're not affected. They're not affected by. They're not affected. They're not affected by crime. Yes, I do know how to, because I know what they do all the time. They will not discuss these things. They will not do anything about them. They ignore what you say, and you think that at general election time you can do something about it. No, the people who stand before you at general election time for the political parties are people who've been pre-selected. You have no control. If I stood for Parliament, or if he stood for Parliament, from our positions, which are quite popular, the fact is the party machines would erase us. The immense amounts of money they're capable of spending, the enormous access they have to the broadcasting organisations, which we don't have most of the time, would make it impossible. Make it impossible.
You've got more access than I have,
would make it impossible. On the contrary, would make it impossible for anyone outside
Peter, sorry. The question was, what would you say to people who feel like you clearly do?
What I've just said.
Political association.
I just said it.
Well, no, wait a moment. What would you say to them about how to change things? Are you going to stand as an MP?
I'm sorry.
Are you going to stand as an MP?
No, because for the reasons I've just explained, I wouldn't have the faintest chance. No, my advice to anybody young enough to do so is to emigrate before it's too late.
Oh, for goodness sake. I mean, this is just...
The paper that hates Britain, you heard it here.
This is a ridiculous council of despair. I think our country's best days are ahead of us, not behind us. And I think Peter Hitchens needs to get with the programme. I got involved in politics, actually, through my mum, who was a member of the CND and used to take me on CND marches. Oh, wow. And I thought this is interesting, exciting. It was the 1980s. There was a big debate about ideas. And I think that, you know, if you want to be involved in politics, you can be involved in politics. And I want more people to be involved in politics. I think we should make Parliament more open, more easier to access, more friendly to people from different backgrounds. I think it is becoming quite an elite of a particular type of professional. I think that's a problem. I think we need to think about the way it operates, the terms and conditions, all those kind of things. I'm excited by the primaries that we've done in the Conservative Party to get a wider group of people involved in politics. We need to revive local... No, we've got some new ones coming up, actually, David. Maybe Question Time might be involved. But what we need to do is we need to open up politics. We need to make local government count through localism so that people are involved. But this idea that everything is always awful, that's one of the reasons why people turn off politics, because they just hear this constant moaning.
The Daily Mail might call you the man who hates Britain.
Exactly.
The Ed Miliband of our day.
You're free to call me.
I mean, it's not the Ed, the Rafe Miliband.
It's not Britain I hate, Britain I love, every field and hedgerow. It's the people who run it. She was a Liberal Democrat. For all I know, she still is.
Let's hear from
So, Liz Truss, she got involved in politics because her parents are two uber lefties. They used to take her on CND marches. She was in the Liberal Democrats before that she moved to the Conservative Party. Liz Truss, she voted Remain. She wanted to remain within the EU. Now ask yourself a question. If that is the best that the Conservative Party can offer as a potential female Prime Minister, if that is the best that the Conservative Party have to offer, have the Conservative Party dispensed with conservatism? Just imagine someone who voted to remain in the EU being sent off to the EU to negotiate a protocol bill that was meant to be designed to remove Northern Ireland from the clutches, from the dictatorial Ponzi scheme that is the EU. Just imagine a Remainer having negotiated that protocol bill. Now imagine something that is even more, well, concerning. And that is that Jeffrey Donaldson, well, he is welcoming this protocol bill, this smoke and mirrors, hoodwinking protocol bill, which means absolutely nothing. And he is welcoming this protocol bill, as is the DUP, as are the DUP hierarchy welcoming this bill. There is only one meaningful and proactive protest that can be made against the protocol by way of politics, by way of the DUP being the leaders of unionism right now in Northern Ireland. And the only meaningful proactive protest that can be made against the protocol bill was to use the leverage of Stormont, Stormont or the protocol bill. This appeasement process that has been forced down our throats since 1996. It's either the appeasement process or it's the protocol, but you can't have both. That's what I heard on the protocol rally stages. And here we have someone who cut her teeth in the CND, someone who was a lefty, someone who came up through the ranks of the Liberal Democrats, someone who would be arguing with Peter Hitchens against all the things that Peter Hitchens was just saying with reference to uncontrollable immigration, destroying the country, overburdening the services that is already overburdened. All of those things that Peter Hitchens would have said. What right-minded British citizen, what right-minded unionist wouldn't stand on the side of Peter Hitchens? And yet Liz Truss, she didn't seem to believe in exactly the same things. That was 2013. And then ask yourself a question. What type of person negotiated the protocol bill along with her friends in the EU? And what type of person potentially is going to be running the Conservative Party? What type of person is Jeffrey Donaldson offering to accept the protocol bill with? What type of person is Jeffrey Donaldson if he hasn't done his homework and understood exactly who that Liz Truss is? And if that is the best of a bad bunch, if that's what friends are meant to be, well, who needs enemies? There's only one way to defeat this protocol, and the only one way is that unionism. And I have absolutely no faith in the current leaders of unionism actually doing this. But unionism needs to walk away from anything that flows from the Belfast Agreement, threaten their precious agreement, and the protocol bill, it will go. Take part in this shenanigans of a protocol bill. Accept the workings within that protocol bill. Accept that Article 26 within the protocol bill gives a fact. It states that the rest of the bill, Articles 1 to 20, only gets effect whenever it runs through the Parliament again. And we'll have to go through, the needle returns to the start of the song, and you have to go through the whole process again to get what is rightfully yours. That is your birthright here in Northern Ireland. And yet the great and the good, the politicians, the community groupings, right across the board, where are they shouting about this? Where are they protesting about this? Where are they demanding of the unionist leaders that this is not acceptable, that this isn't good enough, that this never will be acceptable? Well, I'm in despair, people. I'm in absolute despair whenever I look at who that it is that negotiated the protocol bill and what it is that the protocol bill actually means. So what I'm going to do here is that we're going to take that down from the screen. And I want to play a song, and this is just a short song. And the reason why I want to do this here is because I want to now go and get the protocol bill so that we can read it, so that we can pop it up on our screen, and so that we can understand, exactly what the protocol bill says, and people need to understand this for themselves. And this is the reason why we've been thrown off Facebook just a few days ago. So let's play this, and we'll be back in a short period of time. I think there's a good song to play, and this is to do with Wee Jeffrey, and how that Wee Jeffrey changed his tune from the protocol rally stages whenever he conned the people to give the DUP their vote, and then he started to change the DUP's language from the moment that they got your vote going forward. We're going to play this little song, and then I'll be back very, very shortly, and hopefully what we'll do is we'll go through the protocol bill. We'll just look at a few of the articles just so that people understand for themselves exactly how that this protocol bill is hoodwinking, well, most people from within Northern Ireland unionism. And that's because that the DUP, well, they're touting this as the best thing since sliced bread.
Look, if we have passport controls in Liverpool, does that matter to me? Absolutely not. The things that matter to me are so much more important of the odd border post or passport checks.
You know, the greatest challenge that we face is bringing our own people with us, making peace with your friends.
Any man who is not with us is against us. When is a unionist not a unionist? When he creates disunion.
Well, in the end, customs checks doesn't mean that you change the constitutional status of a part of the United Kingdom.
This is the most momentous election that we have ever had to face. We must elect those who would fight for the union, not those who would oppose it.
Already we're seeing the political parties and business leaders coming together to see how we actually exploit the opportunities that may arise from this situation.
Any man who is not with us is against us.
And when it comes to peace building, sometimes leaders have to push the boundaries to see how we actually exploit the opportunities that may arise from this situation.
Any man who is not with us is against us.
The Northern Ireland Assembly is the place where every element of our society is represented. Such partnership is how we must move forward. And when it comes to peace building, sometimes leaders have to push the boundaries.
When is a unionist not a unionist? When he creates disunion.
The sheet of paper you were given didn't show you all these different regulations on them, so it didn't even mention how many regulations there were. And when I queried that, I asked one of the DUP spads because I knew it had something to do with it, and I was given this assurance that it was keeping us in line with the rest of the United Kingdom, and there was absolutely nothing to worry about.
And when it comes to peace building, sometimes leaders have to push the boundaries.
I trusted what I was told, and I made a mistake, and that's how it was sold to me, and I can only apologise.
The Northern Ireland Assembly is the place where every element of our society is represented. And when it comes to peace building, sometimes leaders have to push the boundaries. In August 2016, within weeks of the EU referendum, my party leader, Arlene Foster, penned a letter jointly with the then Deputy First Minister, Martin McGuinness. That letter was written to the UK Prime Minister, Theresa May. And it's worth quoting, I think, from this letter. This region is unique. in that it is the only part of the UK which has a land border with an EU member state. There have been difficult issues relating to the border throughout our history and the peace process. We therefore appreciate your stated determination that the border will not become an impediment to the movement of people, goods and services.
Any man who is not with us is against us.
It was pragmatic and constructive. As then First Minister and Deputy First Minister, these two leaders were writing in the same spirit of mutual respect and common sense, which enabled my party and Sinn Féin to reach agreement at St Andrews and subsequently to establish a power-sharing government.
We must elect those who will fight for the Union, not those who would oppose it.
And therefore, making peace with your enemies is important, but it can only be successful if you make peace with your friends. Thank you.
So that's his back again, people. So look, I done a cursory look there looking for what it was that I was looking for, and I couldn't quite get up the material that I needed. So what I will do with the next broadcast is that we'll have the thing dissected, we'll have it all sitting here, and we'll be able to go through the protocol bill and we'll be able to explain it and understand it for ourselves. So having a bit of trouble there actually finding what it is that I'm looking for on the internet. So there we go, people. Again, back to recap again. We have been banned. We've received the ban on Facebook. We're not allowed to go live for a certain amount of days. And the reason being is that we broadcast telling people that the protocol bill was actually worthless. It was absolutely no use to Northern Ireland unionism. And contrary to that, the DUP, they seem to be selling it. They seem to be pinpointing it as the way in which that they would go back into Stormont again. And, you know, I'm in despair whenever I look at what it is that the DUP are about to sign up to potentially. And then again, we listened to Jeffrey Donaldson, and nothing has changed from Jeffrey Donaldson's lips ever since the protocol has came into being. That Jeffrey Donaldson is a globalist. That's a claim from me. Has always been a globalist. And what he wants to do is he wants to get his feet under the globalist table, and he wants to do so in a way that his career advancements would happen, and everyone else, well, we have the potential to lose our birthright as a result of Jeffrey Donaldson's needs as a person and his employment prospects from within the Westminster government. And one other thing that I actually will say is that if I've always said this, if Jeffrey Donaldson comes back and does join the Stormont executive and does take up his role as Deputy First Minister, well, I'm going to refer you to a time in his office in 2018, and in October 2018, whenever he had told me that Northern Ireland has 15 years. Well, you see, that would be 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Does that mean we've about 14 years left? And is Jeffrey Donaldson now setting himself up here in Northern Ireland because he knows that that's it? That's the end of the United Kingdom. That is the end of the United Kingdom in its embryonic form. And is that why he's coming back here to Northern Ireland? Well, only time will tell. And, you know, if we can keep, look, like nothing's written in stone. Nothing is written in stone. And if we keep the pressure on the DUP, there is a chance that we'll actually turn this round. I mean, they've obviously got buy-in from a lot of people from within our own community. And I believe that those people don't even know what it is that they're signing themselves up to. You know, they're taking the word of the Conservative government. And this is the same Conservative government, remember, that from 1990 going forward, well, they said that Britain has no selfish strategic or economic interest in Northern Ireland. And is this the culmination of what it was that Peter Brook said in November of 1990? And then again by Patrick Mayhew in 1993. And that is that Britain has no selfish strategic or economic interest in Northern Ireland. So anyway, I hope that you found the stream interesting this evening. As you see, we're broadcasting to the the YouTube channel this evening, also to the Twitter channel. And what we do need to do is that we need to get more and more people across from the Facebook channel onto here. So if you could tell people that we will be broadcasting here for the foreseeable future, we will be looking into other ways in which that we can maybe access the Facebook channel yet again, and that is completely possible. And once again, I would like to say is thanks very much for coming along, and thanks for joining our stream. And expect from us at Restore UK, expect a lot of small videos as the time will go on, because what we do need to start doing again is that we really need to start promoting ourselves in order that we can attract people to the channel. And with reference to the live chat, well, what I will do is that I will I'll take on board what it is that Harry Johnston had said with reference to the Truth Social, and we'll go forward together, people, and we will not be beaten. So playing us out, what I want to do is that I'm going to play us out with a song actually written by my son, and I think that this song is applicable for today. Whenever that we look at, say, Liz Truss, whenever that we look at Rishi Sunak, whenever that we understand the pedigree of Liz Truss, let's just again look and recap who Liz Truss is. Well, her parents were two uber lefties. They brought her up through the CND and the CND marches many years ago. She joined the Liberal Democrats. She was an anti-Brexiteer. And yet Liz Truss is the person who has designed and put together the protocol bill along with those in the EU and presented to Jeffrey Donaldson. And the DUP actually did have their fingerprints all over that protocol bill. Well, all it is smoke and mirrors, hoodwinking the people of Northern Ireland on the promise of the never, never. Nothing ever happens. Nothing happens at all. According to Jeffrey, he expects the needle to return to the start of the song, and he expects us all to sing along like before. If we do that, well, Unionists and their country will soon be parted. So playing us out with a song written by my son, and I want you to listen to the words of this song very, very carefully, because, well, whenever I listened to it this evening, I thought this song, well, it needs updated, it needs upgraded, and it needs written for the circumstances in which that we find ourselves in this evening. However, I think it's very, very fitting. Thanks very much for coming along, and don't forget to let everyone know that we're broadcasting now on the YouTube channel. Thanks very much for coming along, and we'll see you all very soon.
Houses, but down the road a young man feeling like life is worthless. I mean, where the hell from you are you scratching the surface? Let them know that the life there's a purpose. Under lack of service, putting blood in your hands, you're worthless. Seeing these curses, can you hear the pain in these verses be reoccurring? I don't know that this is lurking. You know what? Let's get to working. I know how you feel, we got the raw deal. You know the economy's growing, can't feed the family, we need to feel. Lack of sympathy from a persona that can't relate to deal with the struggles. Y'all get expenses paid, never not half to eat a meal. Do you see a society in crisis? This COVID got you blinded. Do you overshadow suicide? We can't be like this, because life's priceless. And all shapes and forms, you know life's priceless. Yeah, life's priceless. Life goes on, but with the radio on, take a minute to mourn all the pain in the past, the lingering on. Anxiety got us Papa brothers, yo, we gotta move on. Carry this pain on, because days do get better. And life will only get better if you get a chance to pull it together. So let's pull it together. And I can't stop thinking, what if we could combine instead of hate and division? Just because walls built up don't mean we gotta be any different. Just a society created by politicians causing division. How a different life would be if this wasn't the way we really live. You got gotta listen, you learn it from the way you come across and interpret. Are we weak-minded, not the pain and the troubles we inherit? And because you see it's so worthless, you got the nerve to call us a burden. Hope you take all of these words and now you swerve it, try to curve it. Makes we're masks for a flu that is lurking. Social distance keep us apart, divide and conquer and burn. No wonder we feeling so helpless with the way that this is turning. And my stomach is turning. We've had traumatic and sad static and felt pain and a panic. It's caused the life to feel tragic. Do the mathematics. It's a cause for concern over islands registered in these graphics, showing the world our future ain't happy. And to say this sadly, no change in environment with a pandemic happening and the support lacking. Do right by the people, but instead you choose to sit and watch this happen. We can talk about this topic because I'm wanting to drop it. Ain't no stopping these feelings when you cage us up with these lock-ins. We just longing for some help. But there's a topic y'all seem to be dropping. Good to see my life ain't worth nothing. And these times get harder in different days. It ain't gonna feel like yesterday. I know. But brother, let it go, let it go, let it go. Cause when these times get harder in different ways, it makes you stronger than other days. I know. So brother, let it go, let it go, let it go. So let it go. Aim for the stars, raising the bars. Don't let nobody break you apart. You know what? I told you this from the very start. I can't stop thinking, and I can't stop thinking. What if we could combine instead of hating division? Just because walls built up don't mean we gotta be any different. Just a society created by politicians causing division. How different life would be if this wasn't the way we really live. And I can't stop thinking, what if we could combine instead of hating division? No hating division. Just because walls built up don't mean we gotta be any different. Any different, no. Just a society created by politicians causing division. All them causing division. How different life would be if this wasn't the way we really live.